Welcome here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora here on Facebook Live on facebook.com/live now DT and on youtube.com/Wake Up Call DT. We are inside of the Cafe Kubal studios having some fun with you, and I appreciate you so much for being here. Cafe Kubal, 3501 James Street, as well as 401 South Salina Street, 324 West Water Street, and 208 North Townsend Street in Syracuse, as well as their location, the giant behemoth at the pinnacle of manliness on 343 Fayette Street. You could go there and get the chai, which is what I always get, or you could get your favorite coffee or whatever you'd like. The upstate sandwich is my favorite sandwich, and the chocolate chip banana bread is my favorite dessert, but there's a lot of good desserts there. So find your way to Cafe Kubal and support local today, as well as with all of our wonderful companies we're proud to work with. I got my man Jason Lucas here with me today. He's having some quarantinis for us. Brother,
Woo!
how's quarantine right now?
Oh man, it's great. I mean, on a Thursday morning, I could sure use a nice cup of coffee to get me going. It's going to be a lot of fun chasing these kids around here today.
Yeah, my dad had to quarantine. I know that there's, different people have kind of had to go through the quarantine world. How are you spending it? What are you doing to pass the time? How are you keeping yourself busy?
Honestly, just been watching a lot of old football games. I think a lot of people binge Netflix and stuff. I study the game of football a lot. I was watching some arena football yesterday, watching back when Jay Gruden used to coach, not coach, but quarterback the Predators. And it was our old coach's birthday yesterday, and he passed away in a car accident. So I just had a day of binge watching games where he was coaching and Jay was the quarterback. And other than that, just running around with the girls and trying to stay Corona free, man.
Yeah, and I know that, it's been such an interesting year and it's been so crazy. And, you and I got to, spend some time, quality time, which was huge. And I think, anybody watching or listening right now, they know that Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora is where sports meets life. And so that life part of it is really huge to me. I always say that sports is my vehicle. And within that vehicle that I drive to you, I want to bring humility, comedy, community, kindness, compassion, positivity, warmth, faith, hope, love, belief, all that good stuff. You and I got to celebrate that recently, and I definitely don't know any better way to start off the show than to say thank you for that.
Yeah, man, it was a blast having you here. I can't wait till next time, whether you come down here or we get up there to Syracuse, man. Just looking forward to next time to seeing you again, and hopefully we're in good health and everything is back to normal by then too.
Yeah, hoping the best for that. And there's a lot of stuff that's been going on. We will talk about sports and life, as I just mentioned, where sports meets life. And so inside monpauspopcorn.com's What's Poppin', Jay Lucas is here with me first. And obviously, whether you're in Florida or New York or any one of the 50 states, you can get Ma and Pa's popcorn. Maybe that's what you should do with your couple weeks. Since you're going to be watching so much football, go to monpauspopcorn.com, use my promo code DT20, and Uncle Dan will get the girls, Gracie and Carly, a little discount on their popcorn and send it down your way. You guys need something to do down there for the next couple weeks.
Yeah, man, sounds good. The girls love popcorn. They eat it by the handful all day, every day. We go through like a buy one, get one popcorn in like 2 days, 3 days, and a weekend. It's all gone. So yeah, that's probably a good idea.
So, I want to start things because we're going to talk about family and we'll be kind of shifting in and out of different things in the sports world and whatnot. But first and foremost, UCF, I mean, obviously people know from our Florida in Focus series and from you being on the show and the jersey hanging behind you, how connected you are to how connected you are. I love when somebody was like, I love that.
How'd that get there?
Yeah, they're like, I love that moving coffee cup behind you. And I was like, I was just it's like Jiminy Cricket. It's like, give a little whistle. So, but UCF, they did some theft of their former coach, Josh Heupel. Tell us about it.
Yeah, so Josh Heupel had a kid named Big Cat Bryant on the way from Auburn, a big defensive end, former four-star athlete. Auburn was counting on him to be a big part of their season in 2020. Obviously, they didn't have the best year, and that's why Gus Malzahn's at UCF. So, yeah, he was on his way to Tennessee to be with Josh Heupel, and he was like, I'm going to Orlando where it is sunny and beautiful, and I am going to be a knight. So we are saying War damn nights is what's going on down here in Orlando.
Yeah.
We also grabbed a running back, Mark Anthony Richards, from Auburn as well. So UCF, I mean, things are looking good. The Auburn kids are heading our way. There's one more I'm not mentioning, and I'll probably get to that later.
And the thing that's really cool though is the fact that like when a coach has that change, there's that opportunity, right? That Gus Malzahn getting fired from Auburn, he's working years in advance of recruiting, especially in the SEC. I mean, we know in the SEC there's guys that get offered when kids that get offered when they're 12 to be a quarterback. So Gus's connections that he has obviously could pay some dividends for UCF right now and get some of those, quote unquote. I don't like using the star system because I think it's flawed, but getting some of the best talent out there because Gus has those roots in the SEC and those roots in Auburn. There is a chance that these guys wanted to play for him, obviously, and so they could be coming to UCF, which could definitely tip things in UCF's favor, show them those 4 and 5 stars for those that like the star system. And not only that, it could help the conference and then make other people say, well, if we're going to play against 5 stars, then I want to go to Houston and I want to go. So there's this tidal wave that could happen from Gus Malzahn coming in to the AAC, not the SEC.
Yeah, so UCF put a bunch of billboards actually around Florida, around the entire state. And I'm talking Gainesville, Tallahassee, Miami, Jacksonville, where there are other schools who might be a little bit offended by those being up. And they're saying the future of college football is not in Gainesville or Tallahassee or Miami. It's right here in Orlando with Gus Malzahn.
Yeah.
Another kid he did bring in was Nate Craig Myers, who was another good receiver there at Auburn, actually played against UCF in the Peach Bowl 2017. So another big get for UCF. And, yeah, things are looking up right now, man. It's looking like they're going to have a great season in 2021 and get things back on the right track.
Yeah, so, I mean, for you, I mean, following this recruitment – what is going on? I mean, you're down in the state of Florida. You're dealing with the high schools, which is a really cool angle. Plus, you're a fan of UCF and went there, so you have that angle. So you're seeing both sides of it. What can you tell me about, what's going on down there? Because recruiting never stops in the state of Florida.
Well, no. So Gus Malzahn actually made his 100th offer. So he's only been at UCF for just over 2 weeks. He just made his 100th offer.
That's insane.
Over the weekend. Yeah. So it was twins that are from Seminole High School, the coach that I cover, or the school and coach that I cover the most this past season. So actually that was really cool. He's starting to build that fence that we talked about last time we got together, the 407, 321, 386, this whole area, building the fence around it and getting these kids to come here. But every time you turn around, man, he's offering somebody, and he's not scared right now. He's offering those 4 and 5 star kids that UCF, for whatever reason, always shied away from. So, and like you said, like I'm just like you. I don't care so much about the star system. I care about the kid and the quality of the kid and what he brings to the table, honestly, as a person before it is, what they are on the field. And obviously, it's like you said, it's a flawed system. So, but the state of Florida, man, this is where it's at. This is the deepest state and the hardest to recruit in. But it's like I said, it's the deepest. It's where everybody's going to be at, whether you're a Florida school or you're a Nebraska school or you're wherever you are. You want to recruit these kids in Florida and get them to come to your school, no matter what it takes.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I mean, the state of Florida is always bananas. It's always going. It's always staying with it. The Raptors are down there right now playing in Tampa. So my Raptors it's now we the South. And so, they're down there doing their thing. You got the Magic doing their thing. We got, the Tampa Bay Lightning. Hard to believe that. I mean,
world champions.
What'd you say?
World champion Tampa Bay Lightning.
And this is the thing, though, and that's what I was going to get at, is when the Raptors won, it felt like I got to enjoy it for like 2 weeks, and then it was back to the NBA, right? It was back to getting to the draft and training camp and all that stuff. And I think hockey's even worse. I think when my Ducks won in 2007, I counted 8 days before the season started the next season. Like, we literally held the trophy up, and then they were like, could you give it? We're going to need it for next year. Thanks. Did you take a picture? Did you
Your names are on there, right?
Right. Yeah. You guys can See, but I mean, I think hockey is probably the single fastest to me because the NBA is quick. But
Yeah.
hockey to me is like Stanley Cup, hoist the trophy, hand the trophy to the commissioner, the next season starts.
Yeah, no kidding, dude. Hockey, the playoffs go on for 3 months. So you're literally sitting there for 3 months on the edge of your seat, watching every game, living and dying with every hit, every goal, every moment of it. And then next thing you know, it's October and it's time for the season to start. So you're right. I'd say hockey is the fastest one.
Yeah, and it's crazy to see that. But I was talking to a fan of Tampa, of all of the Tampa teams, and I said to him, I was like, who would have thought in a million years the Tampa Bay Bucks, the Tampa Bay Lightning would both win a championship in the same year, and that the Tampa Bay Rays would be in a position to have been that third team to do it. So being down in Florida, and obviously you've covered Tampa and you've been around it all. What are your thoughts coming off of the fact that the Bucks won the Super Bowl? We got the Lightning winning the Stanley Cup, and we had the Rays just scratching at that opportunity to go to the World Series.
Yeah, I mean, well, they were in the World Series. They dang near won it.
Yeah.
If they didn't pull it, I think they pulled a pitcher too early, and that's the thing that they take the most crap
I
for.
misspoke. I apologize.
Yes, I got you.
In the words of Trump, I apologize, because if you apologize, it's not an apology. That's why when I'm not sorry, I tell people I apologize. I'm so apologetic. I'm really sorry, but not sorry. So, but that's how I feel. So, my brain has been mush for. I mean, this year has been. I don't even know how to describe it. Sometimes I feel like I'm with it and I'm here, and other times I feel like I'm on another planet and I'm in one of those like Netflix sci-fi movies. So
yeah,
they were in the World Series. They did not win it. Anywho.
Yes. So not many cities have had a year like Tampa had this past 2020 into 21. I mean, pretty insane that, just getting Tom Brady, Rob Gronkowski, and the guys they were able to bring in with that team was pretty amazing. And I think before the season even started, I said something like, the Bucks just bought the Super Bowl. Like, if they don't win it, what was the point of all this?
Right.
So I felt like they bought it from the beginning, and I'm glad they won. Obviously, my Dolphins weren't there and weren't in it, so yeah, no, I was really glad for them that they won it, and I've always been a Lightning fan, always pulled for them, and the Tampa Bay Rays, going back to my PR days, they pulled my nephew over there when my nephew had cancer, and they hosted him and pimped out his truck and did this whole thing for him. So I became a Rays fan. So I'm a big fan of them, big fan of Kevin Cash and everything that he's doing with that ball club.
Yeah, it's been incredible to see it. But Tropicana Field, when they first were building this thing, I remember driving on the highway toward it. And when they were building it, I was like, Dad, it's not level. Like, do they know that they built it wrong? Because I was a kid and I'm thinking in my head, I'm like, do they know that it's not flat? Is it like, is this just like a weird depth of field thing? But my dad's like, no. My parents were like, I think that's how they meant to do it. And you just see it coming up and there's like sand around and all this stuff. And it was like this awesome, new, cool thing. And I believe before they even played a baseball game with the Devil Rays at the time, that the Tropicana Field was actually used for the NCAA tournament before we even saw baseball. So, and I'm pretty sure Coach K was there. So there was all this good stuff going on, and everybody loved this Tropicana Field. Now it's like the butt of every joke in baseball. Speak with me on being a Floridian and discussing the fact of like, it went from a really cool design that nobody had to, oh my gosh, knock it down.
So did you know the original name of Tropicana Field?
No.
It's called the Thunderdome. It was called the Thunderdome.
I might have. When
they first built it.
Wait, I think I do know that because the Thunder and Thunderdome. Oh no, that's what Jim Carrey says in Liar Liar. I bet when he said where would Tina Turner? She's beyond Thunderdome. That's what he said.
Yeah.
Yes.
So anyways, it was the Thunderdome because it was the home of the Tampa Bay Storm of the Arena Football League. So I actually went to an Arena Bowl in that stadium in 1995.
Yeah.
And this is Jay Gruden was quarterback over at Tampa Bay. and winning the Arena Bowl against my Predators, actually, back then. That's before he even coached or played with the Predators. So, yeah, man, the first time I saw that building was 95, and that thing is lopsided as all get out, but it works, and it's actually backwards from how it looks. You would think that the higher side is the outfield, but it's actually the infield.
Yeah.
And so, so that makes for those pop flies straight up that can still make it and come back down.
Yeah.
But as they still hit them high and they're out there, they hit those catwalks, and those catwalks get into play and all the different rules they have with that. So yeah, man, that building it's an interesting building, and it's definitely not it's not the best baseball building, but for the state of Florida, indoors, I'm there, man. Like, indoors in the summer is where it's at, because there's no other stadium in Florida like that's indoors all the time. The Marlins have the one down south, but that one they like to keep open if it's nice. And it's even hot in there when it's cold, or when it's closed. Yeah. It's even hot in there then. So like that building, I'm not a huge fan of actually either. That new Marlins stadium.
No, and I think the thing. Do they still have in the Marlins stadium? Do they still have what is it? They have like the aquarium. Do they still have that? That like there was an aquarium that was just set up that like was built into the stadium itself.
Wait. You mean the Rays stadium where they have the Ray tank?
No, there was I thought there was supposed to be one at the Marlins stadium, but I haven't been down to it.
I don't remember there being anything like that. I remember there being like a bobblehead world there. It was like every bobblehead you could ever imagine is all in one little place that you walk by on the way to your seats.
Well, and I also know, I do know this. I know that, obviously at TIAA Bank Field, a.k.a. Everbank Field, a.k.a. Jacksonville Municipal Stadium.
The Gator Bowl.
That's that area, when they redid it and, did all that work to it and the boards and all that stuff, underneath the board on the left side, if you're looking from the press box, they put that pool where there's there's pool sectors where you're almost like sitting in a box seat, like a luxury box, but it's a pool, and you can watch the entire Jacksonville game while drinking and eating in a pool, and everybody can see you in the pool, which is pretty cool. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah, no, that was definitely an upgrade that stadium needed.
Now too. What'd you say?
I said that was definitely an upgrade that stadium needed. They made the boards bigger there. The boards are gigantic, as you know there. But yeah, I mean, anything water-based in the state of Florida is good, because those stadiums are hot as anything, I'll say.
Yeah, they definitely are. But here with Jason Lucas this morning on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, we're inside of the Cafe Kubal studios. I want to thank you all for being here on Facebook.com/LiveNowDT and on YouTube.com/WakeUpCallDT. Having a fantastic time with my guy, Jay. Jason, Syracuse basketball. I want to switch from football to basketball here for a second. Syracuse, well, first and foremost, Corona, from my perspective, in January we heard about it, but it was like, oh, it's over in China. It's not going to come here. We're not worried about it. SARS had happened and didn't really happen here or whatever. So March comes around, and it's March 8th. And I did an event at the Wildcat Sports Pub. It was on a Monday. It was March 9th. Pardon me, it was March 9th. And I did the event on March 9th, and I was there with the West Genesee boys lacrosse team, and their head coach, Sean Smith, was sitting to my right. I'll never forget it. It's on video. And he said to me, when we did rapid fire and they could put me on the hot seat, he said, all right, Dan, this coronavirus thing, everybody's talking about it. How bad do you think it's going to get? And I said to him, I don't know. I'm not a doctor. I have no idea. I just pray and I hope that it's not that bad. I pray it goes away. Something along the lines of, I hope God takes it away. I hope that we stay safe. I hope we stay well. And, I hope we're not talking about this in a little bit.
Yeah.
Almost a year to the date, you and I are talking now. My life, my world changed that night, because going into that event, my buddy sent me a message who's down in that area. Shout out to Bob Holliday, and he covers the ACC. And Bob said to me, he texted me and he said, Dan, just so you know, 5 people tested positive coming through the Charlotte airport, which is where I usually fly through.
Yeah.
I said, okay, that's strike one in my brain. And then he messages me again and he goes, yeah, there might be some people in Raleigh, this and that, whatever. I was like, okay, that's strike two. Then I went home and I was going to go to sleep because my flight was in the morning. And I could cancel my hotel in my car. I didn't get my car yet, but I could cancel my hotel. And it was like 10 o'clock at night. And this thing goes over the ticker and it says the MLS, NHL, MLB, and NBA have all jointly agreed to change their media protocols and will be keeping the media out of the locker room. And I'm thinking in my head, well, if they did that, then the ACC is probably going to follow suit. And if I can't go in the locker room, there's no point in me being there because I build relationships and I go, to the lockers and I talk to these guys and I get to know them and I build these personal bonds and I get to tell these personal stories that are just mine. And that's why I go. So I said to myself, okay, you know what? I'm going to cancel everything. Woke up the next morning, talked to a few people, said, was this the right decision to make? Should I have done this? Half the people said yes. The other half of the people said, you could just be a little bit paranoid. That Thursday morning, everything gets canceled.
Yeah.
So here we are, almost a year to the date, and we're talking about another ACC tournament. We're back to conference tournament time. We're back to a hope of an NCAA tournament. What can you say as we're kind of living Groundhog's Day now, hopefully not, as what happened last year happened literally right around this time, and now I'm hoping to God there's going to be an ACC tournament, people are going to stay healthy, and we're going to get to move forward?
Yeah, I mean, since you told your story, I'll tell mine. I mean, pretty much I was at a UCF baseball game against Miami and buying the tickets on them straight up said, like, you go at your own risk. And
yeah,
it said, like, there's this COVID-19 thing out there and, you're going to this game at your own risk. And my dad and I went to the game, and as soon as the game ended, we got home and I saw what you saw, the ticker on the thing and Sports Center. They stopped a game in Dallas. Mark Cuban walking up to the officials with his phone saying, hey, like, they just suspended the season. We're done. We're done. There's no point in playing the second half. They kicked everybody out of that game in Dallas. Yeah, man. I mean, that was that moment. And then I think I went to work the next day and work was announcing that they were shutting the bank down. As far as letting people in, we were going to do everything through the drive-through, work at the bank. So, yeah, and I remember my boss saying, and it's funny you mentioned they asked you how long it was going to go on. I remember my boss saying, this will go on for a couple of weeks, and then we'll be back to normal. And here we are a year later. So, yeah, man, I almost started crying talking about that. That's crazy. It's already been a year. And our lives have changed so much.
What have you learned in this past year?
That everything can be last minute. If it has to be last minute, everything can be last minute.
Yeah.
Tickets to games and stuff, I wait till the last minute for everything. Everything is subject to change. Everything could, I mean, you make a plan and it goes different. I had plans for this month. My daughter tested positive the other night for COVID, and here I am sitting at home. I should be probably, like at work at this moment, but instead I'm here in the morning with you. And so,
yeah,
I wish I had this kind of time in my life to do things like this, but I just, I'm always at work, and now because of Corona and everything and how dangerous it is, I'm at home.
Yeah, and I think that, when all this kind of hit, I was watching but not really paying attention to it, and I was in a relationship at the time, a year ago, and it ended, and then this hit, and it was that, like, we were kind of like quarantining together when they told you to kind of like be in place. It was like her and I and my dog. So I was like, that was my world. And then that shook, we broke up, this stuff's going on. And then here I am having to live it. And at the same time be like, okay, well, this is stuff happening in my life, but then this is stuff happening with the world. And I think, and I mention that because I think what people forget is people were living lives beforehand, right? Cancer didn't take the year off. AIDS didn't take the year off, people getting injured, tearing an ACL or something like that, like stuff that we can't control, right? It didn't take the year off. Breakups didn't take the year off. Deaths in families didn't take the year off. So I think, and what I'm getting at with all of this and people, having addiction and whatnot, is that in this past year, we've essentially had to face our demons. And as you know, Jay, I dated someone who physically was one, so I had to look at her, but and really face her. And it was funny because whenever she stood in front of the mirror, there was a shadow, but there was never her. But it was
She's behind you.
It's one of those things where this past year kind of taught us that we had to face our demons. We had to face the things that we weren't good at. We had to face what we weren't doing. We had to face what was holding us back. What can you say to that? Because this year, I think people, everybody was focused on Corona. And if you were healthy and you were well and nobody died and nobody in your family got sick, you were just thinking this is a nuisance. But to other people that had addiction, that had breakups, that had deaths in the family, divorce, whatever it may be, like these people are going, holy my goodness, I'm dealing with hell on earth to some people. And then there was another hell put on top of it. Just to speak to that. I mean, some people already had enough and then Corona happened.
Yeah. I mean, you get a lot of people in the world, they're in their own routine, everything that they're used to, waking up in the morning, getting a cup of coffee, getting dressed, shower, everything, go to work, get in the car, your commute, everything, in my business in banking, we have a lot of people working from home. Yeah. And they don't have to do any of that. So now all your routine is messed up, but then also you're sitting at home where your pantry's right there all day. And whenever I apply for jobs all the time now, I ask people, what's the hardest part of working at home? And they say, staying out of my dang pantry. I've put on so much weight in this last, whatever it was when I asked, 6 months, 9 months, whatever it's been, it's ridiculous. So, there's that. And then you got people with weight problems that have never had one before. You just got all sorts of different stories going on right now. There's all sorts of different plots. And like you said, the people that are depressed and the anxiety and all those feelings that come, when you're watching the numbers go up and down and up and down and up all the way to the top, and they're locking things down and you got to wear a mask here, but here you don't have to wear a mask. And, Florida takes a lot of heat for how Florida has handled this whole thing, and Governor DeSantis and all that stuff, he takes a lot of heat, and everybody has faced it in a different way because America didn't stay on the same page with it. Like, it wasn't like, okay, the president says this, so we're all doing this. Everybody's doing different things. Now, I think it was Texas opened up their doors the other day and said,
and Mississippi, yeah.
Yeah, 100% capacity, all that. And, they're taking flack for that. But I think at some point, I wish our country would just get on the same page and everybody's doing the same thing. Because I think for a while there, our governor here was rivals with your governor there up in New York. And they were villainizing each other, saying he's doing it wrong or just whatever.
Well, and I think
I wish we could all
are. I think I said that they were playing the what game. The two guys going, but and was playing that stupid game. And I said, I was like, here, you come in and he's like this, you go down to Florida and he's like, hey, you know what I mean? So it's just totally different. But and again, they found a way. Politics is such an ugly, dirty place. And they found a way to politicize a virus. They found a way to take 500,000+ deaths and turn it into someone gaining politically, gaining monetarily, gaining, with whatever power. People found a way to take a virus that was killing people, a virus that was separating families, and they used it to their power and prestige and monetary advantage, like the sick humans that they are. And I'm sitting here today going, you literally used a virus to jockey yourself. That's if I was God right now, I'd be like this with the wave coming, and then I'd be like, no, not yet. I'm like, I don't have kids. I don't have kids yet, God. I want to see them live. And he's like, and I was like, yeah. But
Yeah.
like I thought that politics could do a lot, and I don't care what side people are on. I mean, what we really need to know is whether you're here, there, or here. That politics is the most politically incorrect thing in the world, and ironically. But I mean, I guess I thought that a virus that was killing people would be a time for us to reflect, not a time for us to gain something. But there are people not like you and I, Jay.
Yeah, and be together and help each other and do what you can for your fellow man. And I felt like when the pandemic started, that was one of the first things I started doing was, anytime I went for fast food, I paid for the person behind me. I called it roulette. I was like, let's play roulette. I would go through Wendy's and say, hey, I'm going to start a game of roulette. Swipe my card for the person behind me. And if they want the free meal, they can take it. If not, they pay for the person behind them. And just keep it going for however long it goes and have some fun today. And that's all I would say. Just try to brighten people's day with that. Stuff like that, just little things. But
to let you know like that somebody cares. Because you and I, we have each other, right? We're brothers. I have Gracie and I have Carly, my nieces. I have Kristen, who's part of my family. I have a lot of great people and great, beings in my life, Lily and all of that. Like, I'm surrounded by love. And when you have that, sometimes you don't always appreciate it or you lose sight of it, that the person behind you might be getting a meal for at Chick-fil-A or Millhouse Market or wherever, and whatnot. The person that you may be paying for behind you, they may have nobody in their life. They may have just lost their somebody.
Yeah.
So, getting someone a coffee at Cafe Kubal could make someone legitimately, dude, within this past month, somebody did something really, really nice for me. It was like a total stranger, and they did something nice for me. And it was just like such a tiny little thing. And I got in my car and I like broke down and cried just at the thought that like some stranger cared that much. So it does go a long way. And I think we need to remember that.
Yeah, man, absolutely. Just in the couple days we've been here in quarantine, Kristen's aunt sent us some stuff from Walmart. You got to knock on the door, surprise, something from Walmart. Had people reach out that are going to make us dinners and stuff, just people reaching out to help. And that's what we're supposed to do as human beings is help each other here because we're not all guaranteed tomorrow, especially now with this pandemic going on, we're not guaranteed tomorrow. If somebody tells you that somebody has corona, you take that serious.
Yeah.
I mean, I had a buddy of mine that his dad passed away, was one of the first people to pass away from corona. And I took it serious ever since then. I wasn't so convinced, but when that happened and I saw the effect it had on him losing his dad, man, there ain't nothing he can ever do to replace that dad, Nothing he could ever say to his mom or nothing, So yeah, it's a serious deal, man. And I've done everything I could think of to do, just to try to help and do, whether you're raising somebody's day. I work at the bank, so I try to just joke around with people when they come in and try to keep them loose because isn't it weird walking around a bank with a mask on? Yeah. Yes, it is. Yeah. So just trying to keep everybody loose and put a smile on their face whether you even get to see it or not, because obviously, with the mask on, you're not going to really see it, but just trying to be positive, and it's very hard to be positive right now.
Yeah, and I think, before you and I got on the air, I was complaining about something that I have no control over, that I can't change, that is 100% wrong, but there's nothing I can do. And I'm sitting here going, wow, I spent an hour. And I always say that God hits me with like that reel. It's like I spent an hour complaining, and within that time, your daughter needed you. Within that time, you're hoping that your daughter's okay and that your other daughter's okay. And there's that reminder to me, like before we went on the air, your daughters needed you. And it's that thing of like, okay, Dan, you could have called Jay up, spent 2 minutes, said, buddy, here's the scenario. It doesn't make sense. It's not fair. But you don't even have to say that because the people that know that you don't deserve it. Yeah, so all I had to do was say, hey, Jay, what'd you say?
We know who you are.
So it's like all I had to say was like, Jay, this happened. You're like, man, that sucks. I understand you're frustrated. And then we spend the rest of the hour talking about what we're thankful for. So, I want to apologize to you for spending so much time complaining, because, that's an hour we don't get back. It's an hour that I can and you can. And with all due respect, those people don't deserve my breath.
Amen.
So that's all that needs to be said. But so when you look back on this year, and you look at your family and everything like that, what are some of the things that maybe you didn't appreciate that you appreciate more now, or maybe something you did appreciate that is amplified?
Every chance I get to walk in from work, man. There are people that don't get to do that right now. A lot of my clients, man, they don't even have a job or a pot to pee in.
Yeah.
I've had people approach me that have lost their home. I've had people approach me that have lost their cars, lost this and that they couldn't pay for anymore, gone into bad credit situations. And that's just like tip of the iceberg stuff.
Yeah.
I am blessed that, my wife got unemployment and I was very lucky. Our family is very lucky for that money because that floated us through when she wasn't working. And it was hard, but nowhere near as hard as those that have lost their home or anything like that. Like anytime I get to go to work and be around everybody at work, I'm around great people all day. And then come home and get to be around my girls and my wife. And I'm thankful for all that stuff, man, that, maybe I wasn't as thankful as I should have been, but there's nothing like it now because there are a lot of people that, not only lost jobs, lost houses, lost loved ones, lost people that were a big part of their lives. Yeah. And the depression that comes with that and the anxiety and the being alone and all that. Like, those are the people that, that my prayers are with, because I know it's rough and I know it's not easy. And I know we're all looking toward the light. Hopefully there's a light at the end of the tunnel with some of the states opening up and being able to just go to the doctor normally again would be nice. Being able to go get a massage normally would be nice. Things that relax you, pedicures, other things like that are
being
just
able to date when you actually know what's under the mask would be nice.
I mean, I don't have that problem, but
bro, good.
I hear you,
man. Good for you. I mean, you and Kristen, I just, being in your house, and I don't mean to interrupt you. I want to tell being in your house and being with the girls, first and foremost, I have been on a trampoline twice in my life. That was the second time. The first time I was on it for not a long time, maybe an hour, but I didn't have fun. And I had the greatest time with the girls. I caught some air, which was fun. And, being with Carly and Gracie, I am such a proud uncle. I literally, I can't even tell you how many people I told that they couldn't be more my nieces if they were my own blood.
Yeah.
Like they fit. And I love them tremendously. And then to hang out with you and be sitting on the couch and then saying, Kristen's going to be home soon. And then seeing Kristen and then all of us sitting there together, there's people that just make you feel like they're your family, that you're sitting with people that genuinely love you, want the best for you. They would stand up for you. They'll be there when you cry. They'll be there when you smile. They'll be there when you scream. And I have to thank you and Kristen and Carly and Gracie for, giving me a family that I never knew I was going to have.
Yeah, man. I mean, you are our family. Anytime you want to come down, you just let us know. We loved having you, and like I said, man, I'm looking forward to when we get together again, and whenever that is, whether it's here or there, man. I'm just looking forward to seeing you, and hopefully we're all just happy and healthy, and everything's going well.
Yeah, man. I mean, and having fun. What's the song that Gracie loves listening to? Because now it's in my head all the time.
Into the Unknown.
That one, but the country one. What's the country one again?
Oh, the wine, the beer, the whiskey.
I want to let you know, because I was thinking, I'm like, is that the one? I think it's the one, but I listen to a lot of country. I can honestly tell you, I was singing it today.
Look, she heard you.
Yeah, she heard me say it. There's my little niece. Hi, honey.
Uncle Dan says hi.
Hi. How
She's
are
gonna
you?
wipe the beer.
She's not gonna sing it.
She's not gonna do it.
Because I just in my inside voice.
Oh, she's using her inside voice right now.
She's 3 years old and she says things that like can you tell Gracie that she's
I like when you, like when you, I like when I hear, I like the word your headphones. Thank you.
You like when I wear my headphones? She likes when I wear my headphones.
Oh, very nice. Can you tell her that she's smarter than many people I know that are grown?
Nothing.
Dan says you're very smart.
I'm very smart.
Yeah, you are.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because I like your lips.
Because I like your lips.
That's.
She's blowing you kisses.
You blow me one?
Can you blow him a kiss? Blow him a kiss?
She's sweet.
All right, are you okay? You need anything from me, little girl? You gotta go potty? Okay. Go potty. You know how to do it.
I'll be right back.
All right, she says she'll be right back. Oh my God.
I wanna let you know that my grandmother, G Mama, that I always talked about, I always talk about, that was almost 101 here on this planet. So she's been coming to me lately because I would ask her to come to me, but like stuff that's been going on the last few weeks of my life, and she's big on love. And I was like, come, Grandma, can you come to me and talk to me? And when she did that, with her lips, and then she said, she said, I like your lips. My grandmother used to say that when she got older.
I like your lips.
Yeah. So she would say that she's like, yeah, and I just, so my grandma came to visit through Gracie just now. That's pretty awesome.
Nice, man. That's good.
So, no, but I mean, we were just talking about, family and how God works in awesome ways. We talk about family. I'm talking about the girls, and then Gracie shows up on the camera. I mean, to me, that's a God incidence. And, I think that's the thing, brother, like I am so happy for you, and I'm so excited for you that you are a dad you'll always be a dad to 3.
Yep.
And your girls are incredible, and your little man up in heaven is too. He's incredible. And I think you and Kristen should be so proud to, be the embodiment of what a lot of us, we all go through adversity. You went through adversity, and, I'm sure there was a day a few years back where you didn't know if you would be a dad. You didn't know if you would be married. You didn't know if you'd find the right person. And, it's funny how you probably wake up today and don't even maybe think about it, but there was a time when you didn't even know.
Yeah, man, there was times after we lost Carter where we used to run from people that were parents. We'd see them on the street with their cute little baby, and we'd be like, let's go this way. And it just reminded us of the loss that we had just had. It was hard to see anybody. We were just so depressed and sad. And the girls have brought so much light to us, though. I mean, that's the main thing, is they brought so much to us where there was nothing. There was the wanting to love a child and then having that taken away. And, now we get to do it every day, and we watch them grow and watch them do crazy stuff, like walking behind the camera with no pants on, Gracie. And yeah, she's back. She's going to need help putting her pants on here. I can see. But yeah, man, it's
you know what?
crazy.
All I ask, brother, is that you never let my nieces become Kardashians, because the no pants, that's a Kardashian thing. We can't let that happen.
Well, they're Lucas girls, so they'll never have enough junk to be a Kardashian.
Oh, there you go. My goodness. But
There you go.
She all set? She good?
I sure hope so. She ran away with one leg in.
Okay. Well, hopefully things will work out. She's doing her best impression of Florida Man right now.
Running with one leg in the pants, trying to get him up. Yeah. That's what she's doing.
Yeah. So, but I mean, and what advice would you have to people out there that, you know, that are going through depression, going through the loss of a child. Because of what you went through depression, adversity, you wanting to yell at God, being sad. You had nobody to talk to, nobody to complain to that could give you an answer. You know, so you went through everything. What's your advice to people when they feel like nobody can answer the question? They feel they're being mistreated. They feel like something happened to them they shouldn't have. They're depressed. They're anxious because you guys felt a million things a mile a minute. And, you know, here you are today, the proud parents of 3, and it all worked out. So what would be your advice?
Just be patient. I mean, everything can change in the blink of an eye. You know, you just have to be patient with life. You get in that we all want things now. She really wants to be on the show. So, but you got to be patient because things happen on their own time. You got to stay positive. Last time you asked me this question is the number one thing, man, that you got to stay positive in life and realize that not everything's going to be handed to you. You got to be ready to work for it. Anything and everything you can do to work for it, you got to do it. And, you know, so yeah, man, you just gotta, it's patience. It's love. I'll tell you, go to anybody who loves you. Because if you do have people that love you and you surround yourself with those people, there's nothing you can't do. So, you know, I turned to parents. I turned to any family I could at that point in time, going through that loss. You know, whether you're going through loss, whether it's just adversity at work or whatever it is, you just got to be patient with everything. And, you know, God will make whatever you need to happen on his time. It's not about you. And it's the one thing I always say that's it's a funny saying, but at the same time, it's so true. God doesn't give no crap about your plans. God doesn't care if you think that next year you're going to be a millionaire. If that ain't what he wants you to be, that's not what you're going to be doing. And, you know, I had a plan to be a dad when I was 32, and it didn't happen until I was 33 because we lost our son, you know, and when we were going to have him, we were so excited, and our plan was, you know, to move back to Florida and have him and do everything with him, and everything was going to be about him. That wasn't God's plan. God laughed at our plans, and that's the way that I put it to anybody. I had a pastor ask me that one time. I told him, God laughs at my plans. Like I just make plans. God just laughs at them. And I just hope to him it all works out. And that's really all you can do. Pray.
Yeah. You know, and that's the thing too, is, you know, I don't shy away from it on the show at all. I am who I am. I tell people everyone is welcome on my show, and whether, you know, whatever is, you know, your faith, your background, whatever. And, you know, but I don't hide my faith. You have such a strong faith, and you've been through so much. So I think it's important to speak from that point of view. What keeps your faith?
Positivity, I think, more than anything. Just knowing that God has always been there. Just knowing that no matter what I've gone through in my life, whether it was the loss of my son and how low I was, I don't ever talk about that in this kind of setting. Like it was easy to, you know, grab a pill and go to sleep for a few hours, and so my heart would stop hurting, you know. And there are people in the world that go through that. Like I see where addiction comes from now. It comes from that I'm hurting so bad. The only thing that stops it is doing this, whatever it is, drinking, taking a pill, smoking up, whatever you do. It's what stops it for you. I get it. I never got that before, but I get it now. I got it 6 years ago when I went through that, you know, and the only thing that got me through it was my faith. And so I know that when I go through things now, like what we're going through being quarantined, I know that my faith is what's going to get me through. You know, at night when I'm closing my eyes and put my head on the pillow and talking to God, that's what's going to get me through. And that, you know, that patience and that strength that he affords you, that's what gets you through and gets you through on the other side better than you were when you were on the other side of it.
Yeah, you know, and I couldn't agree more. And it makes I think when you really, and it's funny because when I was a kid, what you just said, when I was a kid, I used to get so mad when they would say, if you want to make God laugh, tell him your plans.
Yeah.
I would get so mad. And now when somebody calls me up and says something to me, that's what I say. You know, I said, if you want to make God laugh, tell him your plans. Because I always thought I knew better. I was like, God, I know who I'm supposed to marry. And that was like 20 people ago, you know, and I'm telling God, like, this is the person, and this is this, and this is where I'm going to live, and this is what I'm going to do, and this is where I'm going to work.
You can put it back on me.
And none of that happened. You know, none of that happened. And the funny thing about it is, I wouldn't change anything about what God did. I'm happy that, you know, he did what he did. And I think that
he's
I think
talking
it's so
to
funny.
me real quick.
What'd you say?
She said, he's talking to me.
I am talking to you, honey.
Yeah, he is talking to you. She said, okay.
But
it's okay. I don't want your inside voice anymore.
she doesn't want my inside voice?
That's what she said.
Outside voice?
I don't want. I don't like you when you're saying the way that.
You're silly.
Yeah, I'm silly, she said.
No, she's silly. That's what I said. She's silly.
I'm really falling.
She's falling.
She's fallen.
She's on my knee.
Yeah. I like how she just said, don't use your inside voice.
Yeah.
When everybody always, my mom always told me that my whisper was out. So
I can't hear you anymore.
Yeah, like you're the worst whisperer ever.
You can't hear me, honey. Can you hear me now?
No.
Can you hear me now?
No, I don't.
Yeah, you're answering me, so you
So
can.
I need Daddy's headphone to hear you.
She goes, I need Daddy's headphones to hear you.
Give her the headphones for a second. Let's do this. All right,
Ready?
honey. Yeah. My little
Uncle Dan.
Grace.
Uncle Dan, I hear you.
You hear me now?
Yes.
So I want to ask you Can I ask you a couple questions?
Yes.
Okay. What's your favorite color?
Blue.
Blue?
Yeah.
Do you know what mine is?
Black.
My favorite color is green.
Yeah.
Who's your favorite Disney princess?
Elsa.
Elsa?
Yeah.
What's your favorite Disney movie? Favorite movie?
I don't know.
You don't know? Is it Frozen?
Yeah.
Yeah. What else can I ask you? Why do you love Daddy?
Because I love Mommy.
That's how you get the headphones taken away.
Because my head hurts.
All right, you ready to go sleep?
Oh,
You ready to say goodnight to Uncle Dan? Say you're going to go sleep?
Good night, Uncle Dan.
Good night, honey.
Bye.
See you.
Go lay with Mama. Since you love her so much, go lay with her.
Why do you love Daddy? Because I love Mommy. That's amazing.
That's my girl.
I think that this show, 17 plus years of broadcasting, this is the viral show. This is the show that takes off. This is what does it for me. I'm going to end up doing a talk show at 4 p.m. like Ellen DeGeneres because of stuff like that. So this is crazy. But no, I mean, what I was saying before that incredible moment is, you know, if you want to make God laugh, tell him your plans. I used to yell at my dad. I'm like, Dad, don't say that anymore. And now I'm like, that's all I live by. This is what I do now. Like when I make plans and then like a few days, like, you know, I had plans in my head in these last couple weeks. And so let's say my plans were on this and I go, hey God, if you just want, no, I'll just do it now.
Yeah.
But I just do this. I tell them, I'm like, I'm not questioning you. I'm not saying you're wrong. I have a thought. You want to hear it? You don't have to hear it. But I think the reality of it all is if you don't know how to ad lib, have you ever met somebody where they plan it all out? Like, I'm going to have 2.8 children. How is that possible? Do they not have a forehead? I mean, what does that mean? But it's like, I'm going to have these kids at this time. I'm going to go here. I'm going to marry a person who's this tall, this hair, these eyes. And God will send you the opposite just to teach you a dang lesson. But
Yeah.
to me, if you want to make God laugh, tell him your plans, because he's got bigger plans and they're better than yours. And they always work. If God gave me what I wanted, I would have married a girl I barely knew. I would have been at a job, and I would have been at a job for a boss, and I wouldn't own my own company. And I wouldn't be living down the road, like from my family. And I wouldn't have been up here to see my grandmothers for the last few years of their lives. So, I mean, if God gave me everything that I had asked for, you and I wouldn't be on the call right now, because we would have never met. I would have never lived in Florida, and this would have never happened.
Yeah, pretty much, man. When you go back in your life and you think about some of the things you prayed for, you're like, what was I even thinking, dude? Oh my God. So yeah, no, I mean, it's totally tentative. And I think, more than ever with the pandemic, life is totally tentative. Every plan you make is subject to change. I mean, I planned on being at work all this month, and instead I'm going to be at home. So there's nothing I can do about it. All of my sick time for the year, man, it's gone. So if I wanted to take sick time, Kristen's having a surgery in July, I got to figure out something else to be off that day. Like, I don't know what else to do. So there's nothing I can do about it. My sick time's gone for the year. And then I don't know. God will make the way no matter what. I know that no matter what, if I'm supposed to be there, I'll be there.
Yeah, I mean, I what did I tell you? And it's funny how we're on the phone. And I think the greatest thing about this is, as I said, Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora is where sports meets life. And this show, there's some topics I had in my head, but when I put you on the air, I know, Jason, in my head, I'm like, and this is just how my show is in general, I'm like, we're going to talk about whatever God wants us to talk about, we're going to talk about.
Yeah, absolutely.
And this show became so real, I hope, for people that are watching and listening this morning, that we're talking about stuff that's happened to you, happened to your family, happened to your friends. Like, we're talking about genuine real life. You're seeing single man, no kids, stuff didn't go my way. Married man, kids, but stuff didn't go his way. And, it's, and I think the reality of it is, we both thought we knew. We both thought we knew better than God, better than everybody. And I said something to you a week ago. I drove to grab myself a drink, got a drink, came back with my drink, and I said, Jason, I realized something. And this was before things didn't go my way. This was like God was prepared. God gave me the answer to the question I didn't ask yet, which he does all the time.
Yes.
And you ask the question over and over again, and then you realize he answered it like 5 months ago. But I said to you, if something is meant to work out, literally nothing will stop it. If something is not meant to work out, everything will stop it. The littlest things, the tiniest bits of paper, a bird, a worm, a tree, anything will stop it. And I said that to you, and I said it to my friend Lisa, and my friend Lisa texted back to me. She said, exactly. Isn't it so freeing now that you know that whatever's going to be is going to be, and that's right off your shoulders? That's thing in my life that I learned, and I thought it was perfect that it happened with you, because you bring me so much wisdom, and you and Kristen have taught me so much. If something's meant to work, nothing can stop it. If something's not meant to work, everything will stop it. And if I say that to myself over and over again, eventually I just find peace in it.
Yeah, it's amazing how that can happen. It just takes all the worry away from you and puts it somewhere else. So it's very relaxing to think that way. And a lot of people don't think that way. They try to force stuff, try to do everything they can, in relationships, in work, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Try to force things to happen, try to force somebody to love you, to like you, or whatever, whether it's, it's God's will. It's not even theirs or somebody else or whatever, or yours. It just is what it is sometimes, man. And you just got to live your life and live your life as positive as you can. And move on to the next thing, whatever it is.
And I think today's so good because there's been so many people trapped at home, or even in a different way, trapped in their own mind. And I know what that feels like. I know what it feels like to feel, I mean, at the beginning of Corona, with stuff going on in my life, I felt trapped in my own mind, which made me feel trapped in my life, which made me run out of my house and take a walk. And then it turned into me taking care of my health better than I ever have. And I think they say that there's three answers that God gives to every prayer. There's one of three answers he gives you to every prayer. Yes, not right now, or no, because I have something better planned for you.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's that country song that says, thank God for unanswered prayers. And I think that if God had answered a prayer the way I wanted it to be last year, almost a year ago, then I wouldn't have started walking. I wouldn't have changed my body. I wouldn't have done healthy mind, healthy body. I wouldn't have a mind that's so much working for me, not me working for it. My body wouldn't be in the best shape of my life. Like, I would not be where I am today if not for God telling me, no, we're not doing that. We're going to do something else. So, I think that anybody that's watching or listening today that feels trapped in their house, feels, quarantined because they are, or quarantined because they've made themselves that way, or somebody else, you've allowed them to make you feel that way. I think what we all can learn from watching today's show is that there's life after it. And what if Corona happened 20 years ago and we couldn't talk on the phone, or like we couldn't, like if this happened when you and I were kids, there would be people that didn't have answering machines. There wouldn't be text messaging. There, wouldn't be the internet. There wouldn't be social media. There wouldn't be Zoom. There wouldn't be video chatting. So, if not for, I mean, you think about even that now, where it's like, yeah, what happened absolutely stinks, but it happened at a time where we could all reach out to each other and still see each other's faces and still hear each other's voices. So even in the darkness of the night, God whispered and we could hear it.
Yeah. Yeah, it is kind of crazy to think like if you didn't have stuff like this, like, and Zoom probably is one of those companies you were talking about that's made millions upon millions of dollars during this whole thing. But yeah, it's crazy to think if we were looking for a payphone right now, or just trying to get a hold of somebody, what it used to be like saying goodbye. A lot of people said goodbye over this very app we're using right now.
Yeah.
A lot of meetings have been held. A lot of businesses have been able to go on because of this app that we're on right now. If not for that, I mean, how bad would it have been for businesses where they couldn't communicate as they would want to with people that
Teams
work for
couldn't,
them?
teachers couldn't. We wouldn't be able to teach. We wouldn't be able to train. We wouldn't be able to converse. You brought up something that really hit home, Jay. You said people said goodbye on this app. People saw each other for the last time on this app. There was a finiteness to video that people said goodbye. And then there was the creation of life where this is how people said hello to their granddaughter, their grandson, their niece, their nephew, their whoever.
Yeah.
There's people that started dating through this. There's people that broke up through this. There's people that passed away and said goodbye through this. There's people that, were born and said hello through this. There's people that kept their businesses going through this. There's people that, got in touch with everybody through this to tell them that they were closing their business.
Yeah.
The apps, video chats, what we're using today to talk with each other in two different states. This video chatting, however people do it, WhatsApp, FaceTime, Zoom, whatever, Facebook Messenger, these things have seen the beginning and the end and everything in between. These apps have literally seen every dimension of life. And I think that, as people are watching us talk this morning, think about the gravity of the fact that what you and I are doing right now the world has done this a million times over in the last year, and it has seen the best of moments and it has seen the worst of moments, and it's seen everything in between.
Yeah, yeah, no joke. It's really seen it all. You know, my job does meetings this way where we can see people, and I know that many jobs across the world, you know, many companies across the world have used this, and it's kept them alive. Really, I mean, but like you were saying, like my boss said hello to her grandson for the first time on Zoom. She didn't even know how to work it. She didn't even know what it was. You
Yeah.
know, they sent her the link and she figured it out to see her grandson for the first time. So it's pretty crazy to think like that they've gone through pandemics before in the world, and that they didn't have this type of stuff. I mean, obviously the medicine wasn't as good. I think more people died than even what we're seeing now.
Yeah.
Man, it's really just crazy the world that we live in, the things that we're able to do. Obviously thankful for stuff like this because you're able to see each other's faces and, you know, not be exposed to each other. It's crazy.
Yeah. You know, it's a different, it's just, again, you know, this was probably not in our plans, and this is how, you know, we get to do it. And it's what has, I mean, this, what I've learned in this past year, my God is greater than I thought he was, and he was already great. He or she, however you say it. My God's greater than I even thought. So many of my prayers have been answered. God hit my reset button twice in my life in the past year. I have gotten closer to people that I didn't think I would be. And I can honestly say that I have the greatest friends, including you, a brother to me. I have the greatest, I have the greatest people on the planet. I mean, I got to know my nieces, Carly and Gracie, because of this stuff. You know, Gracie had never met me up until when we just got to, and here she is, you know, 3 years old, and she got to know me by watching my show. That's how she heard my voice. That's how she saw my face. And when I met her, you would have thought that I was there the day she was born and every day since.
Yeah, pretty much, man. It's crazy. It's allowed us to do a lot of stuff and spend a lot of time together that we wouldn't have gotten to otherwise. Pretty amazing. And Gracie's just in love with you. She loves Uncle Dan, and Carly actually spelled your name the other day. I didn't tell you. Carly spelled
You didn't?
Dan. Yeah, said that's Uncle Dan. Yeah, she did. She was spelling names. She spelled her name and Gracie's name and mom, dad, and Dan.
Really?
Promise. Yeah, she really did. It's crazy. Yeah,
Yeah.
they think the world of you. They had so much fun when you were here. So yeah, it's awesome. It's awesome, man. I'm glad that we get to be as close as we are.
Yeah, and that's the cool thing is that having the, you know, it really is the real when they say that if something is true, if a relationship is real, if a friendship is real, whatever it is, if something is real, it'll go through everything. Again, if it's something that's meant to last, nothing will stop it. And this past year, I have gotten to see your face, talk to you, have you on the show. I get to see you in person. And I can honestly tell you that it's people like you that made this year go by quicker, and help me worry less. And, you know, I mean, it's moments like this that made me feel like I was in the same room as you. So I'm thankful for the technology. I'm thankful for, I mean, it's just the reality that like I have the best people. I have the best. I have the best people. I have the best dog. Like I have the best. And there's no substitute. And we made it work. And I can honestly say that because of all of you, you know, this last year of my life was one of the greatest developmental years I've ever had.
Yeah.
Maybe my best. So, yeah, Corona's terrible. And yeah, it took a lot from us. But it also was a giant reminder to me that when God gives you people like you into my life, the world could literally flip on its head like it did. And our friendship didn't miss a beat, not even a single one.
Yeah. No, man, it's it's like we always say, you got to find the positives in everything. I mean, obviously the world, I mean, just even outside of the pandemic, all the stuff that goes on outside the world, everybody's offended by so much stuff. Like whatever you say, you can't say this, you can't say that. Everybody's just overly offended by every little thing too, and it's looking for negativity. It's the people on Twitter that'll look at the most positive post and try to say something negative to tear that person down. And
Yeah.
it's crazy the world that we live in. And there's people, like I said, those people are suffering, but at the same time, like, don't be looking at somebody's positive post and be trying to tear them down and do all that type of stuff. It's not necessary to tear people down. Build people up. Make people feel good about themselves. That's all I try to do every day. I have nothing but interactions at work where I'm trying to build people up and let them know that their finances are going to be okay,
Yeah.
that their family will be able to do this. They'll be able to afford for their kid to go to college, whatever it is. You're constantly building people up, and that's the way that it should be. Building people up, not tearing them down, because they got a life to live. And it's not, that tearing them down might be the only thing they remember that happened this week, is that you tore them down instead of you had the opportunity to build them up or come at them a different way, but you chose to be rude and hateful instead of love.
That's the thing. They say that people will forget everything except for how you made them feel.
Yeah.
And, and that, when you hurt somebody and you're like, yeah, there's no coming back. And when somebody does something to you and you go, you know what? I'll never wish bad. I've never been one to wish bad on anybody. I hope the best for them. Even in the worst that people have treated me, I hope the best for them. But if you lose my respect, I shouldn't say but. So I hope the best for them, period. If you lose my respect and you really like deliberately try to hurt me, when I'm done, I'm done. And it's not a hate thing, because people always say, what would Jesus do? That's how people always use it against me. I go, Jesus would tell you to not push me to a point where I tell you to leave me alone. That's what Jesus would say, in my opinion. Because people say, well, I hurt you, but Jesus would forgive me. I'm like, you can't do that. They say don't test the Lord, So these people that just like continuously treat you like garbage, and then when you say, okay, I don't want you in my life anymore, I don't want to deal with you, or I only deal with you if I have to, those people get mad at you about it when they should be mad at themselves. And I think, I've dealt with strangers that have treated me like garbage. I've dealt with people that know me very closely that have treated me like garbage. And if I've learned anything, it's worrying never solves a problem. It creates more. Stress will kill you. And on top of all of that, these people don't matter. Miserable people, they're not, happy people don't attack other people. And I would rather spend my time with you talking about the goodness and the positivity. One of the greatest things that's ever happened on my show in 17 plus years happened today when Gracie got on the camera and was a kid. She was this, we're not scripted either, but it's like she was the best of us. She was just a little girl saying hi to her uncle. And, if the world can't learn from that, then the world can't learn. And we could talk about UCF, we can talk about Syracuse, we can talk about, anything and everything under the sports sun. But I think, God did what he wanted to do today. He laughed at our plans and we talked about life. And I think that, what we talked about today, maybe it'll keep somebody off the ledge. Maybe it'll keep someone from taking those pills or drinking that beer or smoking that whatever. Maybe it'll help somebody walk away from something abusive or toxic. Maybe it'll help someone stop complaining and say, I can't change it, and that's okay. Because if I learned anything, what we talked about before we got on the air, I can't change it. I can't do anything about it. And you know what, Jay? There's no reason to talk about it, because when you're a good person and you do things with goodness in your heart, God will always provide. And the things that I complained about the most, there's not a single one of them that still exists in my life because God took care of it.
Yeah, man. Absolutely. I think you said it all right there. It's we just want to make a difference for somebody, and yeah, we kind of went off our little script or whatever, we aren't scripted, but like we had things we were going to talk about and we went off it, and hopefully it is for the benefit of somebody that, put a smile on their face today. I just, wish the best for everybody out there and stay safe and just stay away from this darn corona. It's nothing to mess with. Having to deal with my kids sick this week was one of the toughest things I've had to deal with in a while.
Yeah.
And being the one that took her to the doctor too, which isn't usually me, that's usually Kristen. I took her to the doctor and had to be there, right there for all of it and be the one that got the news. And it's the type of stuff that can put you into a deep, scared, depressed kind of spot. And now Carly's running around and bouncing around and looking like she's okay. And hopefully we'll get her tested again and she'll be negative. So yeah, hopefully we made a difference today, man.
I hope we did. We talked about a lot of stuff, and what really, to put it all together, is listen, you got plans, learn how to ad lib. You want to control things. You can't control anybody but yourself. You want things to go your way. They don't always do. And if you're lucky, they turn out better. And no matter what you go through, good, bad, or indifferent, if you have this, then, what do they say? You're never going to live life without problems. But if you have somebody that cares enough to listen to yours, then you made it in life. And there is not a thing in this world that I need to complain about. I'm very grateful. And above all things, Jay, I know that we helped somebody's life today because I know that you helped mine. And I value you so much. And I'm so thankful that, that we get to do these things and I get to call it a job. But in actuality, I'm just talking to a friend. But my hope is that we do change lives for the better. And I'm going to die trying. I'll tell you that much. And hopefully I'll have a lick of what my grandmother brought to this world, and I'll live to be 100 whatever, and I can make people laugh and make people smile and remind them about stuff. And as my grandmother always said, if you do everything right and people are still mean, piss on them. and she would always say, keep your nose clean. And she would say, you're a good boy, and if you weren't, I'd give you a scaff. And beyond that, she would always say, dammi un bacio, which in Italian means give me a kiss. So I'll end on that note, and I'll say, to you, Jay, hold down the fort in Florida. God willing, I'll see you guys soon. Take care of everybody. Take care of yourself. And just know that you're appreciated more than I can ever tell you. And in your worst of times and in your hardest of moments, you were there for me. So the character of the human being you are, your parents should be proud, and so should you.
Yep, they always, last time you said hello to them, they waved at you too. When they were watching the show, they waved, so that they were like, hi, Dan.
Yeah, because your parents,
you're family, dude.
2 seconds being in a room with them, I felt like I was their kid.
Yeah. Yeah, you're family to us, man.
Yes, they're like, oh my God, Dan, sit right down. Do you want food? What do you need? And I'm like, they're like, we're so happy you're, it was like a big thing. And I'm like, it's just me. I'm just hanging out. Like, I'm just here. They treated me like this was their only focus of the day. And when you get people that genuinely, like, you walk through their door and it's like, Dan's here and it's all about us spending time together. Like, darn it. If you walk into a house like I walked into yours and it's like, it's all about family and spending time together, that's something that is so timeless. It never goes away.
Very precious, man, right now. Like, I feel very blessed that you were even able to come between our governors fighting each other. I'm glad you were able to come down here and spend even that few hours with us. It was awesome just to have you here. And like I said, like, it was the toughest thing and you made it happen. I mean, you made it happen. I didn't do anything to make it happen. So yeah, exactly. We were blessed to actually be able to get together, even with all this craziness going on. We got to spend some time, and like I said, this is awesome as well, but there's nothing like that being together for a little bit, and it was very, very nice.
Yeah, man. So to everybody out there, whatever you're going through, Jason and I are here, And we hope that today made your day a little bit brighter, a little bit happier. And if you cried any tears, hopefully they were only the good ones. And Jay, as always, I'll talk with you soon. God bless you, brother. And thank you for everything.
Have a good day.